Hi folks. I had a question from Jimmy saying that his paintings always tend to be two-dimensional, and how do you create depth in a watercolour? You know, what's the secret? I mean, there's no real big secret. I would generally say you basically, to try and create depth, you're looking for at least, always try and get at least 3 layers in a painting. So 3 layers, not including the sky. The sky is a general background. So the first layer would be the lightest tone. These would be like distant hills or mountains or trees, bushes, fences, whatever you want them to be, right the way, but the furthest things you can see in the painting, and they're put in the lightest tone. So that's minimal amount of paint and maximum amount of water, really. A very light toned mix. The second layer would be something in the middle ground. Again, it could be trees or buildings. I mean, looking around here, just could be anything really. Just middle ground elements, depending what the focal point of your painting is. And again, they would be done in a slightly stronger tone, so a little bit more paint, a little bit less water in the mix. And then the third tone would be the foreground. I generally have, the simplest way of doing it would be able to have that as your strongest tone. So foreground elements, maybe like this path running off into the distance, this path sort of comes right down into the foreground, right where I'm standing. So these like muddy areas and sticks and stones would be put in really strong dark tones. So maximum amount of paint, minimum amount of water. And if you get those tones right, and you can see, if you can imagine, so you're starting off with your sort of strongest stuff in the foreground and then going right off into the distance, where those distant trees would be, say, really, really light. If you get those 3 layers in, it helps create depth then. They would be the 3 basic layers, and then you can put extra layers in between those to create as many layers as you want, really. The more layers you create, the more depth you get in your painting, and that's pretty much what it's all about, really.